Соколов Игорь Анатольевич. Кто со мной не знаком, прошу выйдите жанру. Коллеги, прежде чем мы приступим к работе, я хотел бы, чтобы мы вспомнили память Леонида Андреевича Калиниченко, великого ученого, педагога, основателя, долголетнего руководителя и мотора нашей с вами конференции, которая по-разному называлась. Сегодня мы видим, что его дело было абсолютно правильно, он смотрел далеко вперед. К сожалению, время никого не щадит, в том числе Леонида Андреевича. На 82-м году жизни он скончался 17 июля этого года, сделав очень много, в том числе и для нашего сегодняшнего мероприятия. Но более подробно мы о нем поговорим. Борис Асенович Новиков подготовил сообщение Леонида Андреевича Калиниченко. Ну, я предлагаю минуты молчания почтить память Леонида Андреевича. Спасибо. Коллеги, я позволю себе буквально несколько слов сказать о сегодняшнем дне и нашей конференции. Но, во-первых, хочу перед вами извиниться, мне нужно срочно уезжать к Садовничему или уходить пешком. И выяснилось это вчера вечером, поэтому прошу сказать, не воспринимайте это как неуважение к мероприятию. Наша с вами конференция совершенно оправданно сегодня, как я уверен, выходит на первое место, на первый ряд научных проблем, которые стоят и перед нашей страной, и перед всем миром. Не случайно сегодня мы вступили в эру цифровой трансформации экономики, а наука – это одна из отраслей экономики. И, как казалось, мы, именно наука, стали пионерами этой самой цифровой трансформации. Сегодня это всеми осознанно, понято, и велико внимание к нашей конференции, смею вас уверить, и в Академии наук, и в университетском сообществе, и в коммерческом сообществе, в промышленных, других коммерческих организациях. Поэтому я с большим удовольствием констатирую, что наша конференция живет. Уверен, что она продолжит свое существование столь же успешно, как и начиналась и как проводилась 20 лет. Желаю всем интересной, плодотворной работы. Открываю конференцию и передаю право ведения сегодняшнего заседания Сергею Александровичу, как сегодня главному от академического сообщества, представителю вот в этой области. Пожалуйста.
So, dear colleagues, we are a bit off the timetable, but I don't think that we should shrink our talks. I think we should just a bit shift them. So now I would like to give the floor to the Boris Novikov, who will give the memorial talk for Leonid Kalinichenko. So, Boris.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And yes, I will be talking about Leonid. And actually, this talk was prepared for another conference, which also was initiated by Leonid, and it is IBIS. It was held in Budapest in the beginning of September, a bit more than a month ago. So it's just more or less the same talk. So I will say a few words about Leonid. I tried to make it somehow personal. It is not an official biography. It mostly came from my memories, my mind. So, but we start with his research, and this actually happened before I was able to join the research community. In 60s, Leonid was in Kiev in Institute of Cybernetics, which was at that time one of the best places for researchers in Soviet Union. So he was in there, And what he was doing there, surprisingly, was called data science at that time. And the meaning of these words is exactly the same now. Many researchers, even top-level researchers, often say that data science is emerging, but actually data science existed in late 50s and 60s, and the word existed, and the meaning was exactly the same as now, so Leonid was involved in that. And in 1965, he published his first paper mentioned in DBOP index, which was his first internationally visible research, because it wasn't cybernetics journal, but it was translated, so it was visible. Then in 70s, he changed his topic and started working on databases, and specifically he worked on database model transformation. And this diagram, which is well known to algebraists, like this kind of commutative diagrams, represents the primary goal of the model transformation. If you have some operation in one model and transform it to another model, the result should be the same, no matter in which order you do. Either you first do transformation and then operation, or you first do operation and then transformation. This is a pretty simple idea, but it happened that it is pretty hard to implement that for actual models. And Leonid spent quite a while doing that. So in 1983, a book appeared. It is a huge book on database integration, actually, and this work was very deep, and he considered a lot of details. I think several people helped him, but still he was the major driving force. And also I have to mention that this work was definitely, in some sense, ahead of time, because actually the database and data resources integration became a hot topic in 90s. So Leonid was already well known in the world. So this work was definitely ahead of time, and I heard references to him as a well-known theoretician in 90s from like at the international conference. So he was really internationally known. And then in 90s and later he worked on what he called synthesis project. This was a huge effort, and they produced a lot of research, but this area, database integration, became too tight for him, and he started working on integration of different information resources of any kind. We were looking at that time, I worked closely together with his team, so we worked on object mappings, several different things. Actually, he tried to incorporate all new models and ideas that appeared in the research literature. So this was a huge work, and finally it was transformed what is main topic of this conference now. That's about research. And then I think his second area of activity is much more important. in certain sense, it is also about integration, but now it is about integration of communities. And we have to mention data bank working group. It is a like inter-organization body which worked in 70s and early 80s in Soviet Union. They were distributing knowledge. Basically, they organized a series of so-called all-union database conferences. Actually, these were pretty good conferences with like hundreds of participants. We can, not all of submissions were of equal quality, of course, but still it was a big. These conferences were big events, and Leonid was active in there and tried to invite participants and lecturers from outside. Okay. And then in 80s, he was really active trying to integrate our former Soviet and Russian community into international research community. Of course, it was not possible without help of several people from Western Europe and from United States, from Japan, from everywhere. So they were jointly organizing international workshop, and we all together learned how to produce research which has not only good results, but also is presented in such a way that it can compete at the international level. So that's, there were a lot of different activities, and Leonid was major driving force from our side in these events. So, and probably one of his major product is IBIS Conference, which is successful. We started in '93 with really small event, much smaller than this one, and then it developed. So last time in 1997, it was last time in Russia, and it was in St. Petersburg. So we worked together on that, and then conference moved to Europe and is now moving between different European cities. Hopefully it will come back to Russia at some point. I don't know when this will happen, but Leonid participated in all these events until 2014, and then for some reasons he didn't attend that, but conference still lives, and first edition of this talk was given at that conference in Budapest this year. So that's IBIS. And finally, Leonid also cared about research in Russia and tried to improve the level of research. So he organized, actually, when IBIS moved out from Russia, 2 years later was Russian Conference of Digital Libraries was started, and then it was transformed to this conference. So we all use results. We are all happy to participate in these events, which all were initiated and inspired by Leonid. And then my last slide, this is different photo, not the one used for the last publications, but the best way to pay our tribute to Leonid's memory is to improve and develop our research communities, providing for high quality research. High quality is important. It was really important for Leonid and should be important for all of us. Thank you.